Look at this. Simply stunning. I'm in Sri Lanka, an island that charms you with its warmth.
Yeah.
Ready? Yes!
A tiny nation of dramatic extremes and unique wildlife.
We know each and every one of them. It's just like family.
But it's been through decades of struggle. From a brutal civil war
This became one of the most heavily mined areas in the world.
to one of the greatest natural disasters of our time.
Tsunami ආවේ 2004. එතකොට මං චූටි ළමෙක්.
And now,
Those are buttermilk chilies. They're not spicy.
it's recovering from its worst ever economic crisis.
Oh.
Aftertaste. I first came here in the year 2000 and I was struck by the laid-back island mentality. But Sri Lanka's been through a lot since then and I want to find out how it's changed.
In this second part of my adventure, I'll be searching for a side of Sri Lanka I've never experienced before.
Being out in the nature is like one of the best feelings in the world.
Ooh. And I find out how this Sri Lankan staple might help the island's economic recovery.
So here's to the jackfruit.
I'm starting my journey 3 hours drive away from the capital Colombo, by Sri Lanka's fourth longest river, the Culinary.
Traditionally, people have passed through this area on their way to visit the world-famous tea plantations. But nowadays, they're stopping because of natural scenery like this.
Sri Lankan tourism has been decimated in recent years, and not just because of the pandemic. A terrorist attack in 2019 and the economic meltdown dissuaded people from coming too. Tourist numbers are gradually now recovering, with 1.5 million visiting in 2023.
Okay, Rajan, you want to get in the boat?
And this is the way the country wants to boost figures in the future, by attracting travellers who love adventure.
Here we go. Now let's pedal forward. All right.
Listen, I love an adrenaline buzz, but there's something a little bit nerve-wracking about rapids and being on the river for me. So wish me the best of luck. Here we go.
So just pedal easy. Don't waste all your energy. We're going to need it down there. You ready to go? Right. Stop. Forward. Stop.
I can't swear.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Lean right. Lean right. Okay, forward.
I think we've negotiated 2 rapids. There's harder stuff to come down the way. Here goes.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Hold on. All right. Now we go forward again. Forward. And hold on. You ready? All right.
Did I do it? I did it!
You did it. You did it.
I did it! that was rough. There were waves coming towards me. Thank goodness I listened to the instructions of Candy about holding on. And it's just exhilarating, and you just go.
Adventure tourism in Sri Lanka is in its infancy, but now the government is investing in it. Their thinking is that thrill seekers will spend more than regular travellers and boost the local economy. For rafting guide Candy, this river has provided both a living and a lifestyle.
When you're going down the river and you're going through the rapids, just tell me how that feels to you.
For me, it's like one of the best feelings in the world. Being out in the nature, basically I feel alive, you know? I mean, we grow up next to the river. We used to like spend our most of the free time just out here in the canyons. There's lots of people involved in this, not just the guides, you know? Pretty much the whole village is involved in this theme.
So it's like a mini economy, all based around
Yeah,
the
exactly.
river. And people are talking about adventure sports like this becoming a real attraction in terms of tourism for Sri Lanka.
There's a big potential in Sri Lanka for especially adventure tourism. So it's a good thing that the government is ready to invest in these kind of things, but there should be some law, like respecting nature, because without nature there is no life.
Like so many Sri Lankans, Candy recognises that his country's biggest asset is its unique biodiversity. And away from the riverbanks, I've heard of a surprising new pathway to prosperity.
In a country that is so bountiful in nature, one of Sri Lanka's staple fruits is now acquiring global superfood status, so much so that it's a big hope to boost the country's ailing economy.
I'm here to meet Amaralata.
Hello.
She's in the catering business and she's a big cheerleader for her country's national fruit.
This is the jackfruit.
කොස්
Wow.
මේ කිරිකොස් එකට මේ ගෙඩිය හොඳයි. ඕකේ? මැල්ලුමට හොඳයි. මේවා හරි පුෂ්ටිමත්, හරි ගුණදායක කෑම. පිළිකා. ඒවට හොඳයි ලේ වඩනවා. හොඳ හයි හත්තිය තියෙනවා. හොඳට තියෙන ජාතිය තමයි ලංකාවේ කොස් ගෙඩිය කියන්නේ.
Okay.
කොස් ගෙඩිය කියන්නේ හොඳම රස කෑම.
Very neat. Very precise.
As well as being versatile, they provide a good yield. Their harvesting, though, demands expert dexterity.
So Amaralata is now producing this long stick, which then with a knife at the end. So whoops, let's just make sure it's... This takes a lot of skill, if you ask me. So you want me to... Whoa, this is not easy. Yeah, thank you for helping me. Okay, this is a joint international effort. Ready? Oops. Yeah. Oh, you want to go in between the gap. Got it. Ah, good place, yeah? Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! Amazing. Well done. So this one is much, much smaller. How is it different then to the one we previously brought down?
මේක තමයි ගුණමදායක එකක් තමයි මේ ගැටේ. මේක පොඩි පොලොස් කෑලි කපලා මේක පොලොස් මාළුව. මේක මාළුව. අර මදුල තියෙන එක අර ගෙඩියේ මදුළු තියෙන්නේ මදුළු. මේ මදුල කපලා සුද්ධ කරලා ඇටයින් කරලා ඒක කිරිකොස් එක හදනවා. තම්බල පොල් එක.
It was an independence activist called Arthur V. Diaz who drew attention to the jackfruit's ability to feed the nation. Yay! In the early 20th century, he campaigned to plant 1 million trees, making these a common sight in people's back gardens.
Oh, it's fantastic to watch how skillful she is doing something that has been passed on through generations.
When the pandemic hit and many people lost their wages, they turned to what was growing on their doorstep.
Have you ever hurt yourself with these sharp knives? Ooh. Oh dear. Right, rinsing all the water out.
Now, recognising their importance, the President of Sri Lanka wants to plant 3 million new jackfruit trees.
කරමිංච සම්ප.
Okay, yep, next.
අම්මිදි.
If there's anything wrong with this food, blame me. It's my fault. Okay.
ඉඟුරු.
Yep. Say it again. The chef's apprentice.
කහ.
Turmeric. It's one of my favourites. Excellent. Chili. Really? We've got chilies and chili powder and curry. Okay, onto the stove.
The curry needs at least an hour to cook.
That is already very, very tasty and spicy.
Although abroad, fresh jackfruits can be pricey, here, well, they grow on trees.
කොස් ලංකාවේ දෙයක් නේ. දැන් පිටරට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඒ පිටරටත් දැන් කොස් කියන જાතිය කැවෙනවා. කොස් කියන්නේ අපි පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් වගේ තියෙනවා. අපි පොඩි කාලේ අපිට අපේ අම්මලා තමයි මගේ අම්මා තමයි ඒ කිඩි කොස් හදන හැටි, පොලොස් කපන හැටි උගන්වලා තියෙන්නේ. පොඩි කාලේ ඉඳන් අපේ ළමයින්ටත් අපි දෙනවා කොස් තම්බලා පොල් ගාලා දෙනවා හැම ගෙදරකම.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, here we go. So some rice, jackfruit. Well, look at that. Visually, a feast, and I haven't even tasted it yet. So nice. So tasty. And all the flavours that you put in to the mixture, you can taste every single thing. It's so good. Thank you. In many ways, the jackfruit is actually a really good illustration of Sri Lankan resilience. It comes to the rescue in times of hardship. It's got many diverse uses, and it can generate income. So here's to the jackfruit.
My next stop is an area that until now has remained off the beaten track.
I've come to the railway station at Anuradhapura, which for 1,500 years was the capital of Sri Lanka. I always say you don't really know a country until you use its public transport.
This is Sri Lanka's longest train line, going across the country from Colombo to its northern city, Jaffna.
Here it comes.
It was built by the British more than 100 years ago.
Just how I imagined it. Still with that kind of authentic flavour. Love it. So I'm looking for AFT. Do you know where AFT is?
Empty.
AFT. Ah, it's down there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Helps if you know where you're going. AFT.
Please come.
Here we go. It's that way. Thank you for... Oh, wrong carriage. Thank you, my friend. These two, yeah? The best thing about travelling by train is that you see everyday life, you see every aspect of life just smoothly going past, the whole fabric of society. I love it.
Now, when I first visited in the year 2000, these trains weren't running.
Last time I came here, this country was in the middle of civil war, so the north was a kind of no-go zone for tourists.
The war between the Sri Lankan government and the Tamil Tigers lasted for 26 years, ending in 2009. The United Nations estimate 80 to 100,000 people lost their lives, and the country was ripped apart.
We are traveling to Jaffna, so I never visited Jaffna.
It's your first time?
Yeah, it's my first time. The reason was there was a big war.
The war is still a sensitive subject.
Can you explain what it was like when the country was divided like that?
Yeah, that was actually, I don't like to comment on that.
The one thing that keeps coming up in my conversations is the state of the economy.
Currently, we can see a lot of educated people live in country because of this financial and economic situation. So yes, we are facing so many problems, but we are trying to fight and go.
Yeah.
According to the most recent figures, More than 300,000 people left Sri Lanka in just 12 months.
So it's really interesting. I'm talking to some people on the train here, and they're clearly worried about the state of the economy and the way that this country is managed. But at the same time, they're also really proud of the Sri Lankan spirit.
This is Jaffna, the cultural capital of the Tamil people, and it's known for its historic fort, temples and spicy cuisine. But I'm off to about an hour's drive away to see something completely different.
One of the tragic legacies of the war was the 1.6 million landmines left behind after the ceasefire was called in 2009.
Rooted in the destabilising rule of the British, the war was a clash between two groups. The Sri Lankan government, dominated by the Sinhalese, and the Tamil Tigers, who hoped to establish a separate state for the Tamil minority. I've come to Muhammali, which used to be the front line.
This was where some of the most intense fighting of the Civil War took place. Where I'm standing right now was a bunker where the Tamil Tigers were based, and they would have been firing across there towards the Sri Lankan army. And as the war continued over decades, this became one of the most heavily mined areas in the world.
Together, the two sides created a minefield, 3 times the size of New York Central Park.
You see these yellow sticks here, these markers? Well, they denote where mines were actually found. And you can see how densely packed they are and how systematically laid out in a line. And it's quite horrific to think that somebody could have just innocently walked across here.
The Halo Trust is one of 4 demining organisations. They've been in Sri Lanka for more than 20 years. Philomena Karuna Karan is a task supervisor.
Philomena, what's happening right here?
இதில் 2 வாகனங்களோட வேலை தான் நடைபெற்று கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இப்போ இயந்திர வலுவான வேலை திட்டம் இப்போ நடந்து கொண்டிருக்குது. மனித வலுவால் துப்புரவு செய்யப்படாத பகுதிகளுக்கு தான் நாங்கள் இயந்திர வலுவை பயன்படுத்துகிறோம். இங்கே வந்து சிதறல் மிதிவெடிகள் வந்து கூடுதலாக காணப்படுறது, அதிகளவான மெட்டல்கள் இங்கே காணப்படுவதால் எங்களுக்கு மனித வலுவை செய்ய முடியாத காணப்படுறது. நாங்கள் இதில் 2 விதமான வேலை திட்டத்தை பயன்படுத்தி கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். இந்த வாகனம் வந்து இந்த புறநுடர் ஃபுல்லாக வந்து ஆமசிலால் வந்து கிளையும் மூடி காணப்படுகிறது. அப்போ இதில் ஏதாவது விபத்து நடந்தால் கூட அவருக்கு பாதிப்பு ஏற்படாத வகையில் அது காணப்படும்.
The war displaced hundreds of thousands of people. Philomena got separated from her husband and son and spent a month trying to reunite with them.
சொல்ல முடியாத நிலை இருந்தது. எனக்கு என் மகன் வந்து 1.5 வயசு, பால் குடிக்கிறதில்லை. நிறைய செல்லுகள் ரவுண்ட்ஸுகள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அங்காளையும் இங்காளையும் சேர்ந்து 2 பகுதியும் வயரிங் நடுவில் நாங்கள் மாட்டுப்பட்டுனாங்க. என் தாயார் வந்து என்னோட இருந்தவா. அந்த நந்திக்கடலோட போய்க்கல. ஆனால் எங்களுக்கு ரவுண்ட்ஸில் நாங்கள் பாதிக்கப்பட்டு நாங்கள் அம்மா மயங்கி விழுந்துட்டான். ஆனால் நான் அந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் அம்மா சொன்னவா, எப்படியாவது நீ போயிட்ட பிள்ளைங்கன்னு சேர்ந்து போல் என்னை விட்டுட்டு போன்னு சொன்னவா. அப்போ என்னால் அந்த நேரம் என் தாயார் விட்டுட்டு போயலாமல் இருந்தது. நான் எப்படியாவது செத்தாலும் நாங்கள் 2 பேரும் ஒன்றா சாவோம் என்று சொல்லி நான் என் தாயாரை கை தூக்கலாம் நான் அந்த தண்ணிக்கால தூக்கி கொண்டு தான் கடந்து சென்றேன்.
Philomena is one of the lucky ones. Her family survived and was reunited. So far, thanks to this work, over 250,000 people have been able to return to their homes. For the land clearing workers, every day here ends with the safe destruction of mines.
இதை வந்து எரிக்கிறதுக்கு ரெடியாக இருக்குது. இப்போ இதை வந்து ஒரு தயார்படுத்தல் முறையில் இருக்குது.
How much of a sense of achievement do you get from seeing these mines being burned?
இப்போ இந்த மைன்ஸ்கள் வந்து நாங்கள் இதில் வெடிக்க வச்சு முற்று முழுதாக அழிக்கப்படுறதால இதை அண்டி வாழ்கிற மக்கள் இருக்கணும் தானே, அவையிட அங்கவீனங்கள் இருக்கிறது மற்றது இதால் வர்ற இழப்புகளை வந்து நாங்கள் இல்லாமல் செய்கிறோம்னு சொல்லி தான் இந்த வேலையை நாங்கள் செய்கிறதால உண்மையாகவே மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறோம். இதை அழிக்கிட்டோம்ன்ற மகிழ்ச்சி எங்களுக்கு ஏற்படுது.
So what you're seeing there is the culmination of really hard work by people clearing the land here of mines. And those bangs, those pops, mean that they're safe from now on.
Today, 90% of landmines have been cleared, and Sri Lanka aims to be fully free of them by 2028.
The civil war and the laying of landmines has obviously been devastating for this region. But there is a flip side to this. The absence of people and the lack of development has meant that nature has flourished.
There are more than 430 bird species in Sri Lanka, and the north is one of the best places to spot them.
There it is. I've just spotted a sea eagle looking for food.
You just don't get this wealth of wildlife in many places in the world, and albeit as much by accident as design, Sri Lanka now has a huge opportunity to develop unique ecotourism projects here.
The signs do look good here for the north. The trains from the south are pretty full. The mines have nearly been cleared, and there's even a new ferry line coming from India. Yep, of course there'll be hurdles ahead, but it does feel like this region is just waiting to be discovered.
I've come to the end of my time here, and I have met some of Sri Lanka's most inspirational people.
It's nice.
Isn't that lovely?
From those who are restoring its coastline
Amazing sight.
and finding a way to share space with wildlife, to the locals rebuilding the northern province.
Whoa.
People here are striving for stability and a brighter future.
I've travelled the length and breadth of Sri Lanka, and it's pretty clear that this country has been through some major crises. But the potential to bounce back is massive. And from a traveller's point of view, this place has virtually everything.